how many years
Oh yeah.
have we been doing this, Jim?
I have been doing this about 41 years.
41 years.
41 years.
And we've been with you guys.
Those 40, the whole time.
Now wait. Aren't you the guy
Yes.
that saw our ad in
In Fangoria magazine.
And then what did you do when you saw
Well,
that ad?
what happened was I owned my own business in Asheville, North Carolina.
Jeans and things.
Jeans and things, and I called you and bought some masks. And shortly thereafter, I went out of business and came to work for Morris. Well, I had done very well with your mask at my store, so it's like, well, Morris would do well with it. So I brought it. I remember mentioning it to Phil specifically. I've got this company in Colorado that makes these great masks, and we need to carry these. And so he said, well, let's try them and see. And, well, here we are.
And what year was that?
That was, I came to work with him in 80, so that was shortly thereafter.
Wow.
So we were just getting going, because we technically started in 78, but it was really 79 before we were rocking.
I remember seeing the Neutron Alien was what you advertised in Fangoria. And that, I said, well, I got to get in contact with this guy. These are great. And you sent me some photos of other things like, well, man, we got to carry these. And the rest is history.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a crummy little ad. It cost $85.
I remember just like it was yesterday. Remember it just like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. What happened to you?
But man, I tell you, it's been just a real great ride.
I just have so many fond memories of these shows and going out with you guys.
Fun times. Really fun times.
Listen, there's been so many memories. And to think that this is kind of my last show, it's kind of sad in one way, but very interesting in another.
But it truly wonderful, and it's largely because you took us to Morris Costumes and got this thing started. I mean, it seems like a small thing, but we might be like, I might be digging ditches now if it wasn't for that.
I don't think that's the case, but it was a small thing.
It would have been a lot easier if I was digging ditches, I think. But
I'm sure.
But no,
sure.
the glory would be
well,
gone.
listen, the pleasure's all mine because you guys have just made it. I live and breathe monsters, and you guys do too.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
So Scott, how long has it been? Distortions and Morris. How long is this? Is it like 100 years? Is it 200 years?
You know, I think they were just inventing dirt
Yeah.
when this all occurred.
That's right. They hadn't even made rock yet.
No.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time.
You were even in it before we were in it because you were like the son of Phil Morris, who was making gorillas in the driveway. Is this right?
Basement of our home.
Basement.
Yeah, the basement of our home. It's really pretty neat. Go down and we have a plaster Paris mold. My dad would go down and take a paintbrush and put a layer on there, then get the hair dryers, put the hair dryers on top. And the hair dryers are burned up. We go down to Goodwill and get another hair dryer.
That's familiar.
And about a week later, a chest would come out, a head would come out, a pair of hands. My mom would sew the suit.
Yes.
It was all crazy.
And those suits were those the gorilla suits that were, one of them was used by Patterson, right?
By Patterson, yeah.
One of the probably five most famous films in history is the Patterson film. Your mother sewed the suit, your father made the costume.
Yeah.
And then Patterson bought it from you guys.
So when was that, Scott? That was
64?
Yeah, 64, 66,
and how
something
old
like
were
that.
you at that time?
6 years old.
Wow.
So yeah.
So
And did you travel with them?
Well, we traveled on the circus. We traveled on the family shows during the mid to late 60s and early 70s. We did a thing called a ghost show.
Yes.
And that was when all the theaters were 1,500, 2,000 seat theaters, and all the theaters had stages, the old vaudeville stages.
Yes.
Unlike today, there are all mini theaters, and you could never do this. But there'd be 2 horror flicks, and between the 2 horror flicks, there'd be a stage show.
Right.
And the stage show would be part illusions, part magic, and part of it would be a horror scene. And that was when the trailer would start running, and the lightning would come down, and the thunder, and my father, Dr. Evil, would get up on stage and talk about the snakes slithering down the aisles, the snakes crawling up the back, the rats climbing up the back of the seats. and Mummy would come out on stage, King Kong would come out on stage, he'd pull out a blank gun, shooting the blank gun, and I would carry we had a old ghost that was illuminated, and all of a sudden the whole place would just black out. I mean, even the exit signs were blacked out, which you can't do today.
No.
But I mean, and the crowd is in pandemonium.
Well, when you're talking about snakes on stage and stuff, didn't you have like fish poles or something? You were
Oh
making
yeah,
stuff
fish
on their
poles,
backs
and he's shaking this rubber snake up in the air. I mean,
So, John Campbell, you've been with Morris for how long?
Probably close to 25.
Wow.
It's over 20 years. Late 90s.
I guess if I thought about it, I would know that, but that's a little shocking that it's been that long.
It's very shocking.
So you and Scott are like the dynamic duo of monsters.
I guess you could put it that way.
Yeah, but you were out doing this stuff, and then you guys could come together and formulate.
Absolutely,
and
we
you could
did.
go off and hit the streets.
Over the years, we did all the buying trips together.
Yes.
Other than going to China, but all the buying trips with the domestic factories,
Yeah.
we would take all the trips together. And
I think you were instrumental in growing the line, you know, particularly the import line and all that.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
you were
And
instrumental.
as things had developed over the years, I got a little bit more into the development part.
Yes.
Of course,
Right.
going to China and working with
Oh,
the
yeah,
factories
that's-
there. I have to admit, I did room with Phil once.
Oh boy, how was that? Was that
Oh.
experience that you
Well,
had to go to a therapist
You had
for?
to make sure you didn't mind people coming and going all night long.
Oh, wow.
Because he was a night owl.
No, that's
Yeah.
right.
He was a night owl.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You'd be tired from walking on the show floor all day, and you'd be in bed, and all of a sudden you hear the door. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to
I'm
sleep.
trying
Phil.
to sleep.
I'm thinking about going to the diner. And I'd say, okay, I'll go to the diner
Oh,
with
no.
you at midnight.
No,
Yeah.
Phil was a totally unique person.
Yes.
I don't.
No, but it's been fun. It's been
Yes.
a great career. I'm glad to feel like I've been part of the industry, had an
Very
influence on the
big part.
industry.
A huge influence,
And,
yeah.
and it's just to see these changes has been kind of amazing.
Well, I can tell you since I got, of course, I missed 10 years of what Morris was involved in and all the changes prior to that. But from when we got into the day, unbelievable. The first Transworld show I went to, which was one of the first, if not the first, it was in a room, I don't know, maybe twice the size of a living room or something.
Right.
Very small. And we had these plastic shelves, and then we put stuff on it. It was like nothing. This is an extravaganza. I mean, this is. Now that was.
It didn't take long.
No.
Back that's when it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because things were growing so fast.
Yes.
I mean, you almost couldn't make a mistake in
No, you
Halloween
could make a
retail
mistake because
especially.
you were inventing it. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just exploding. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So I am Sean Morris with Morris Costumes. I am third generation. Philip Morris is my grandfather and really the creator of the division that we are doing. And this is my brother Brandon.
Brandon
Yeah.
Morris, and I've been doing this since I could use a staple.
You guys. So you've been your whole life. You've been in this business, this
Yes.
crazy business.
Yeah.
Now, did you like it when you were young, or was it like,
Oh no, I loved it.
You've
It
always
was,
loved it. You've always.
it was-
Loved it the entire time.
it was the best childhood that I could have ever come up with. It really was.
There was
In fact,
an adventure at any point in time.
It most certainly
well,
was. It most
anytime
certainly
you're
was.
wandering around, especially if you're out of town with Phil Morris, that's an adventure.
Well,
Now, I
that
don't
was
want
that was
specifics.
what it was yes, Philip
Please.
Morris and the circus, you name it. I mean,
Yes.
we just did so many things that nobody in their mind would have even thought was even a feasible thing to do. I mean, I went on a 3-year worldwide tour with the band Kiss. I went face painted at the opening of the Universal Studios.
I forgot about you guys.
at Terminator 2.
And you know, I know you guys. You had this amazing grandfather.
Yes.
And grandmother.
Well,
And grandmother.
Amy.
She's still running circles around my employees.
Yeah, she's-
85 years old.
Yes.
She still runs circles
She still
around all
goes
of
out
us.
and does her own yard
Yeah.
work too.
yes.
90 miles an hour down the highway too. She
Well, you
doesn't
know,
care.
Yeah.
it's amazing what you guys accomplished, and really in 2 generations. People like you, we love you. And now listen, it's extremely
Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, group hug, I love it. Thank you, Scott. I mean, really, really thank you. It's been such a blessing to have you in our lives.
Well, guys, thanks for the ride. It's been great.
Thank you, brother.
It's been great. Thank you.
All right.
That's great.